Another huge cost when putting someone on assignment is to tax equalize them. And what that means is you won't pay any more tax than if you stayed at home. Now, there's a huge thing here. And I'm going to talk about tax equalization when we get to the finance section, because I have a really great story about, actually I have two really great stories about assignees and tax equalization. But what that means is when you go on assignment, it's like you never left from a tax perspective. They hire consultants like Deloitte & Touche or PricewaterhouseCoopers to take care of your taxes, to file them for you, and also figure out what you would pay in the home country versus the host country, and then tell the company what they need to pay if it's additional to what you would have paid at the home country. That's called tax equalization. So again, we'll talk about that in the finance chapter. But for this chapter, I want to bring to your attention one specific thing, and it's about cultural sensitivity. So not only is it expensive to send someone on assignment, typically 2.5 times their salary every year is what it costs to send them on assignment. That's a lot of money, right? But the person that you send has to be really culturally sensitive. And what that means is if they're coming from a home country, they have to be compassionate and sensitive to the host country employees. So obviously they're very different cultures normally from the home to host country, but in the host country, they need to be open-minded. They need to not use stereotypes. They need to treat everyone as an equal. They need to abide by the host country rules. And that's why I give you the videos that show you what goes on in that host country or different country. So you can also have that. You know, not only if you go on assignment, but also if you're just traveling to the country. It's really important that you try to integrate yourself into their culture, to understand their culture, because that's going to make you a better employee and actually more respected, and you're going to get more stuff done. For instance, when I went to Hong Kong, they offered me drivers. Every time I went, I could have a private driver. I always turned them down. I would always go public transportation. Why? Because that's what most people do in Hong Kong. They take the ferry. They don't get a private driver, so why should I have one? Also, when I went to Hong Kong, I've never had chicken's feet. I ate like a local, okay? I had those chicken's feet, and they weren't too bad. They were crunchy, they were good. Another thing, when lunchtime, they tend to, you know, obviously just like Americans, go to lunch together, but they actually go to karaoke sometimes at lunch in their own karaoke room, and that was my first experience doing that. But again, you know, you wanna try to be like the other culture so they can see that you're actually trying. Even if you just learn one word, hello, in their language, it shows that you're trying, right? So I recommend you do that. Cultural sensitivities, I have a story for you. There was a gentleman, and he was from the US, and we had put him on assignment in China. He was a very difficult individual, very high up, very difficult. He was a vice president of R&D, research and development. So we sent him over to China, and first of all, he wanted everything under the sun. It ended up costing us about 10 times his salary a year, and it shouldn't cost that. So what we said was, okay, we'll give you these things, but we're gonna put you on a short-term assignment. So he was there, the assignment was supposed to last 6 months. As soon as he got there, he put up a sign in his office that said, now he's in China, and it said, we're an American company, speak English or get out. Obviously, not the right thing to do. So we didn't immediately take action. We asked him to take the sign down. It was all good. But then more and more of him thinking that he was superior and not really integrating himself into the culture, it took a toll on the assignment itself. The goal of his assignment was to actually transfer some of our knowledge here in the US to China. And because nobody respected him, he couldn't do that. So what we ended up doing was bring him home, and we brought him home early. And about, I would say 6 or 7 months after we brought him home, we ended up letting him go, firing him, because he just wasn't the right fit for our company. We are a global organization. We respected each other, and we relied on our relationships with other countries to get things done. So if you don't get respected in other countries, or you choose not to be compassionate or empathize with that country, we don't want you.